Right, time we talked NBA. Plenty to talk about, of course, early stages of the season. We're reasonably well advanced, been going for a few weeks now. Talk with the NBA correspondent for The Guardian, Max Whittle. Hi, Max.
Hi, Bob. How you doing?
I'm pretty good, thank you. We need to talk about the fallout from the election of Donald Trump. Now, quite a few of NBA coaches and indeed quite a few NBA players have had a thing or two to say about that.
Yeah, I don't want this to be a political segment, but the US election result has triggered league-wide comment. I know the NBA and its players, they're more socially aware, it seems, than most of the American sports leagues, including the NFL, which gets a bad rap for these sort of things. And that's proven. They pulled the All-Star game from Charlotte because of Carolina's LGBT laws. Adam Silver, the commissioner, allowed players to wear the I Can't Breathe t-shirts last year in light of Eric Garner's death from the NYPD. And now we've got Donald Trump. And you're hearing a lot of things from coaches. Steve Kerr's had his say. Stan Van Gundy has a very interesting take on it. And he said, we've just thrown a good part of our population under the bus. Greg Popovich compared it to Rome and the fact that the US are falling. So when you look down on it, 50% of spectators essentially voted for Donald Trump. But when you technically look at the results in an NBA arena, and I think that's what Van Gundy said was tough on his team. And I do think the NBA will cope better than the NFL because the NFL's got someone like Rex Ryan or Bill Belichick who openly voted for Donald Trump. The NBA seems to be a lot more ahead in terms of voting for Hillary Clinton. But this is poignant this week because the Cleveland Cavaliers went to the White House to celebrate their championship from last year. Each year, every team will go and have pictures and meet the president. And the question coming out of the States is, will teams go to the White House for the next 4 years? And it's interesting. Richard Jefferson was on Snapchat for the Cavs saying that he actually posted a picture and it said, "Words cannot express the honor I feel being the last team to visit the White House tomorrow." So it's clear what he said, what he thinks about that. And LeBron said, "I'll cross that road when we come to it, if they come to it." Just to remind everyone, 74.3% of the league is black in the NBA. There's been no issue with the anthem. I don't foresee it being here, but the big question out of this whole thing is, will teams go to the White House the next 4 years?
Do they expect what they're saying to have any kind of impact on the incumbent?
Well, I don't think...
Put it another way, do you think he's taking any notice?
Donald Trump, you mean?
Yeah.
Well, if you look at the style that Obama does it when the teams go to the White House, it's very interesting to see how intelligent, how funny he is. He jokes a lot about the players, and he takes the mickey a little bit in jest. And I think Donald Trump, I don't think he has that capability. Yeah. From what he said about African Americans, about minorities, I think you have to be very careful, and he clearly isn't. And I think that's in the back of a lot of the players' minds. And there have been a lot of players. LeBron James was at a Hillary Clinton rally in Ohio.
Yes, he was very prominent. Yeah.
Before that state, in the end, voted for Trump. So I think it's going to be very embarrassing and quite awkward to see if teams do decide to go. We've seen players not want to go to the White House before. We've never seen an entire league skip it. So it's going to be very interesting to see.
It must be quite awkward for the commissioner of the NBA as well, looking at what people are saying and doing, and thinking, well, I really don't have any control over this.
Yeah, the commissioner, David Stern, the former commissioner, since he's been out of office, Adam Silver's come in and kind of treated it completely differently. He's gotten ahead of all of these issues. I mean, although he can't directly influence that, he is trying his best to make sure that the players, if they are going to put up a fight against anything, and that could be the anthem issue, that could be race issues, that could be the presidential election, he's got ahead of it, and he's emailed out just recently to all of the NBA corporate offices, essentially reiterating that the league's core values and its commitment to equality and diversity are still up there, and that's their goal. The email wasn't specifically about the election, but what he's trying to make sure that happens is if the players want to fight this, they do it in a proper manner, and the NBA really, I have to salute them for that. They seem to do it in the correct way every time, and it goes from the commissioner down.
Let's talk about things on the court. Let's try and get away from the political side of it, which, as you say, will go on for a little bit longer, and we may be talking about that well into 2017. Dwayne Wade returning to Miami for the first time as an opponent, that is.
Yes, well, the bones of it, Dwayne Wade, 13 seasons in Miami. He was drafted by the Heat. He won 3 titles, and he went back with his Chicago Bulls and beat Miami 98-95. The bones of it, well, Pat Riley, the president of the Heat, he offered Dwayne Wade $10 million annually, which seems ridiculously low considering someone like Timothy Mozgov is making $16 million with the Lakers this season, but that's the state of the league at the moment. But Riley, there's 2 scenarios here. Did he call Dwayne Wade's bluff because Wade is so loyal to Miami, or at least he was, or did Pat Riley know what he was doing? He wanted to get rid of Wade, so he lowballed him, and he knew that Wade would go. Miami's future was with Hassan Whiteside and not Dwayne Wade. So Wade left, went to Chicago, and it was a happy return. They won the game. Arena staff, the team personnel greeted him very well. The PA, Mike Biamonte, if you hear the way he introduced Dwayne Wade when he used to be on Miami, I won't give an example, but he basically says the word Wade for about 20 seconds. And he did that again, even though he was an opponent. So it was very different to the return.
I think about 3 people applauded him, apparently, I heard. Though he didn't get exactly a rapturous reception.
Well, he did get a very nice video tribute during the first time out. It was unexpected, and I think Wade was certainly treated better than LeBron and Shaq were when they returned to Miami. But it's weird to see him in a Chicago uniform. It's still very strange.
Let's talk about the Toronto Raptors, of course, the only non-American NBA team. Are they going places?
Yeah, the Raptors made the conference finals in the Eastern Conference last year, equivalent of the semi-finals, if you were, the series before the NBA Finals. And they're never really talked about. They didn't get the coverage they deserve probably because they are north of the border. Currently 7-2, and this weekend they honoured the 70th anniversary of the Toronto Huskies. That was their first ever name of the franchise. They beat the Knicks, and the reason they could be going even further this season is because of DeMar DeRozan's improved play. Now, he was very, very good last season, but he was a free agent in the summer. He decided to stay with Toronto. He didn't go back to LA, where he was from originally. He signed a big contract there. And he's done something Michael Jordan last did in 86 and 87, which is scored 30 or more in 8 of his first 9 games. He's really improved his post moves. He's got a great Euro step. He looks like Kobe in a lot of his assets of his game. The only thing he has to improve is his three-point shot. But Tuesday, put it in his diary at Cleveland, Toronto. Go to Cleveland, the rematch of the conference finals. DD has a lot of responsibility in that one.
And John Wall and DeMarcus Cousins, wrong place at the wrong time?
Yes, well, DeMarcus Cousins, first of all, in Sacramento. This guy has been with the team since 2010. Hasn't worked at all. He's a hothead. He's a supreme talent, but there's no leadership there. It's a repeating circle of problems with Cousins. Basically, what happens is the team is so bad, he sulks, he's on and off on defense, he gets frustrated with his teammates, and then that cycle's repeated. They've just moved into a new arena, and the only thing to watch is Cousins. But that's the problem here. Will the team decide to trade Cousins when they know that the fans are really only coming out to see him? And this is the same team that George Karl, the former coach, just written a book about his experience coaching the Kings. And Rudy Gay, one of the current players, actually said to George Karl, "Welcome to basketball hell," when he first arrived. That says it all, really. And John Wall, quickly, first overall pick in 2010. He's now the assist leader in Washington. But they're 2-7 to start the season. They were a game ahead of Basement Boys, the 76ers. And it all seems so fresh this season. Scott Brooks came in to coach the team. Bradley Beal's got a max deal. But they just haven't looked good right now. And they need to shake that team up. They lost Nene. They've got Gortat at centre. You're not going to win with that sort of team. So John Wall, very good player, but in a very bad team.
Max, thank you for your time tonight. We'll catch up with you again. Talk more NBA with the correspondent for The Guardian, Max Whittle, there on talkSPORT next time.